Kamara Drive-In. It's the coach. This is the 2019 season on EA Sports. Coming up, 2017 Offensive Rookie of the Year, Alvin Kamara. Fresh off a big performance a week ago, as it'll be the Houston Texans taking on the Indianapolis Colts. I'll be back with you again with scores around the league at halftime. But kickoff right around the corner. And standing by to call the action, here are Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
All right, much appreciated, Coach, as we welcome all of you to our exclusive coverage of the National Football League on EA Sports. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, and Charles, we take a look at the Colts entering play. They come in pretty desperate here for a win as they've started the year 0-5.
And it seems way too early to start talking about hot seats. But guess what? When a team is 0-5, people start wondering about their jobs.
Meanwhile, for our visitors, the Texans, they've got all W's on the ledger so far, a perfect 6-0.
Yeah, still a long way to go in this season, but they're showing everyone early on that they intend to be there in the end.
Getting toward the halfway point of the NFL season, Week 7 is underway on EA Sports. This one fielded at the 5. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28-yard line. So the Colts now coming out for their opening drive. Ryan Tannehill will be orchestrating the offense, the top 10 pick back in 2012.
And coming up of an early season open week. And in this situation, what he told us when we sat down with him was he spent a lot of time working on fundamentals, kind of getting back to basics during that time, as opposed to having to worry about healing up or resting up. It was too early in the season. Get back to the basics, get his game going again.
The throw there finding its way to Boyle. And we look now at the offense for Indianapolis.
A second-year receiver at SMU, Cortland Sutton, had a pretty nice rookie season, averaging nearly 17 yards per catch, but there's still plenty more for him to work on. Not only should he be able to be a big-time red zone threat, they want to be a little more elusive in the open field.
To throw again on second down. Tannehill. Robinson's got it. And he's brought down after a very nice gain. That one a gain of 20 and a first down.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there was a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
Yeah, that was a good start getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance.
And he goes across midfield and down into Houston territory. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4. From the 45 on second down, Tannehill. And that's going to be incomplete. Too tough to hold on to that one. It's 2nd down. A run through the starters defensively for the Texans. They were terrific last week in the victory over Kansas City.
Yeah, they pitched a shutout in that game, didn't they? And those don't come around all that often in the NFL. The ability to keep someone out of the end zone and also from kicking one through the post. Well done.
Now they face a 3rd down and 4 after that incompletion on second down. Tannehill, and it's complete. Henry, and he's going to be taken down with another first down as the stop's made at the Texans' 32-yard line. Nice job keeping that opening drive alive, and they're in plus territory, that part of the field where you really want to convert on 3rd down. They did. Big-time
pickup for them, and now I think the aggressive play callers think to themselves, this part of the field, I take my shot at the end zone, because the closer you get to the end zone, the field gets condensed. Makes it a lot tougher to run those routes. You still got a chance to actually run past people right now. Take your shot at the end zone early in the down and distance count.
The lane opens up that time as he'll be brought down just short of a first after a gain of about 9. Give him 9 on the carry that time, and they'll set up with a 2nd and 1. On 2nd and a yard, Tannehill. Oh, he almost had it for the pick. A great chance there for the interception in the end zone. Instead, third down. He was all over that route defensively. Now, they had 2 picks last week as a unit. Couldn't quite grab that one.
Patience, Grasshopper. Patience. It's early in this game, but you like the fact that they're around the football early. They're going to be upset they didn't haul that one in, but at least they're there at the moment of truth to make a play on it.
By the way, where did the grasshopper thing come from? I know it's been around for a long time.
Yeah, you know, I'll have to tell you that some other time.
All right, back to football. Now Jake Elliott for the field goal try. From the right hash, it's a 41-yard attempt. And the kick by Elliott is good. And the Colts hit the scoreboard first. It's 3-0. So the opening drive does yield points, maybe not the 7 they wanted, but they'll take the 3.
Accumulating first downs does not go up on the scoreboard, but it does go into the DNA of a team that's trying to establish itself to start a game. That has to feel pretty good for them. They'll take the 3.
Yeah, they had 3 first downs and 3 points. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. So out come the Texans for their opening drive. They'll be brought out by the 2-time MVP in the NFL, who's now in his 15th season, Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, I'm not taking a turn to negative town, even though it's going to sound like it. The 2 interceptions he threw last week, those obviously have to be eliminated, and that was the focus of practice this week. But let's face it, he did throw 3 touchdowns.
And they got the win.
So I think it was a good week for him to work on things. Had some positives, the win being first and foremost. Now he's just got to eliminate those interceptions.
A nice run there, 9 yards, and it'll be second down. On 2nd and 1, Rodgers, George Kittle, the Pro Bowl tight end, the intended receiver, and it's 3rd and short. And let's take a look at the Texans offense.
The poster child for late bloomers is wide receiver Adam Thielen. Well documented that he came out of football-powered Minnesota State to become a starting receiver in the NFL. Over 200 catches in the last 2 seasons. This is a young man who knows how to get open. And one of the things his college coach told me that really makes his game special, he has a great sense of awareness of where everyone is on the field. Every time he catches the ball, allows him to react and gain extra yardage. Defensively here, you're facing a top 5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL. So when they're that high-powered, you've got to find a way to hold them under 20, because to me, that's the magic number. 20 points scored gives yourself you give yourself your best chance to win.
So if they're up around 24, 28, 30, they could be in some trouble.
I think so, because then you turn it into a shootout, and that means your offense has to keep pace.
They'll rifle this one deep right side. And that'll wind up incomplete. Try to give his man room to run under it, but it's second down. Time for a look at our starters here on defense. Against the pass, they're toward the middle of the league, number 15 in the NFL.
And I'm struggling a little bit trying to really categorize this crew. They're top 10 in the league against the pass, but the bottom half of the league in sacking the quarterback. That doesn't make sense. Imagine if this group ever put pressure on the QB, they'd easily move into the top 5.
Another throw on second down, and this one incomplete as well. Trey Burton, the one he was looking for, and it's third down. Now Rodgers. And he's got his man Hilton. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. 15 yards, the Texans pick up the first down. He missed on his first 3 passes, was 0 for 3. Now gets a connection. Maybe that'll get him going.
Yeah, it wasn't a time for panic, but there was some concern, because once you start in a certain pattern, you're wondering, can you get out of it? And that flips the other way, too, when you're throwing it really well. In this case, now he's got his first completion. They think he might be off to the races.
They go play action here on first down. And it was a leaping catch. He pulled it in. 12 more yards there and another first down. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. On the ground, Kamara. And he'll be brought down somewhat awkwardly here, and a late flag as well. I think this one's going to be a face mask. Officials so cognizant of that call nowadays, but that would look pretty easy.
Yeah, you're right. They took out of their hands having to wonder whether it's a 5-yard or a 15-yard inadvertent or not. Now, it's a lot easier. You see it, you call it.
And now it's 1st and 10. A big mistake, especially when you factor in the personal foul yardage. Following the penalty, it's Kamara. They showed some tough running, but they'll drop him at the 5-yard line. A good run there on 1st down, and it'll leave him with a 2nd and 2. He was solid last week, over 100 yards in their victory on the ground. They're going to get that going again. And that is caught. Touchdown, Texans. Adam Thielen, his 6th touchdown of the season. And the Texans have taken the lead. There was no going through the progressions on that touchdown pass.
Yeah, nor was it necessary. His receiver won that route early, presented himself, no reason to wait. Go ahead and put it on him and score a touchdown.
Aldrich Rosas on for the extra point. And this is up and good to make it 7-3. That time, a 9-play drive, and it results in the Texans finding the end zone. Now after the touchdown, here's Rosas on to kick it away. This one fielded at the 5. And he'll take this across the 25, a couple of extra yards, up to the 27-yard line. And the Colts coming out now. And after the field goal last time, we'll see what they can get here. At least they got points out of the last drive, Charles.
I never met an offensive coach that didn't want to drive to end with a kick. Most of them wanted to end with a PAT, right? In this case, a field goal, they'll take it. Way better than the alternative, which is a punt.
Yeah, but you met fan bases that wanted that, so they're happy with that field goal.
I haven't met a fan base yet that wants to drive to end with a kick, other than the extra point. That's it. They'd love to just strike back with a touchdown right here, and if it's a long play, so be it. But the main goal, get
under pressure, and he's going to go down. Tannehill sacked. The defensive player of the year, Aaron Donald. And that's going to make it 3rd down and 10.
2 sacks last week, another one right here. He's been unblockable lately, and I think that goes all the way back to not just his offseason, but the film study he's been doing during the week, because I think he's found matchups that he likes, and he's capitalizing.
A few times he's even defeated double teams. He doesn't care at this point.
Here we go, D. All day, defense, all day, all day.
Throwing on 3rd down, Tannehill. And that is incomplete. Had to pass there, 3rd and long on your own side of the field. Just couldn't come up with anything.
That's why teams always talk about having to win the early downs, meaning you've got to gain yardage and set yourself up for 3rd and short, because when it's 3rd and long, the odds go down significantly trying to pick up the 1st down, even throwing the football.
Shrugs him off. 12 yards on the return that time. And the Texans will take over with a 1st and 10. Out comes the Houston offense as they get set to take over here. And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline, because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tablet and see what you did on the last drive. When you scored points, it's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix things up.
And he's going to lose yards. They take him down at the 26. It'll be a loss of 1, and it'll be 2nd and 11. And never good on a pass completion there to go the wrong way. Lost yardage.
No, for some reason it seems to work better when you throw it downfield, or you can move the ball downfield running it that way, doesn't it? But in this case, if you're the defensive guys, you're energized, executed well, and you caused a lost yardage play. That's going to feel good and look great in film.
A carry for Devontae Freeman, who missed most of last season. 8 yards there on the carry, and now they're left with a much more manageable 3rd and 3. Now Rodgers on the bootleg. Able to haul it in is Kittle. Catch number 40 for him on the year. It's a 1st down. We've seen quite a bit of the short passing game here early on first quarter, haven't we?
We have, and I think it works a couple of ways for this team because, number one, you throw the short game until they stop it. And if they're not going to stop it, you keep throwing it, and occasionally you'll break a tackle and turn it into a bigger gain. Also, if they start to creep up, start to pressure receivers, now you go over the top, take it deep, and now you get some of those big shots downfield.
Now a first down carry. It's Kamara. And not much there at all. Maybe a yard up to the 43. On second down, Kamara. And he's going to take this one up only to about the 44-yard line. 2 runs in a row, but only 2 yards to show for it. Throwing is Rodgers on third down. The tight end Kittle has it on the left side. And they'll get him to the ground. He has another first down at the Colts 39.
One of the advantages of zone defense, as I remember it, is being able to see the play develop in front of you. One of the disadvantages, when they find those levels where they can hit you with it, sometimes behind the corner and in front of the safety, it makes it tough to defend.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. On the ground, this is Kamara. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave him with a 2nd and 3. Throwing on 2nd and 3. Rodgers. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up 2nd down. The 8th play of the drive coming up. It's 3rd and 3. Rodgers going to throw. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete.
But one thing's for sure, when you get a big receiver and you trust him downfield, you're going to give him opportunities to go up and get that 50-50 ball.
And he is a darn good big receiver. Unfortunately, that time didn't work out. Nice job defensively. Now Aldrick Rosas for the field goal attempt. It'll be a 49-yard attempt from the left hash. And this will split the uprights. It's right down the middle. And they push the lead up to a touchdown now at 10-3. So in the end, they had the ball for 10 plays, but the drive gets them 3, not 6.
Is it okay if I give credit to both sides on this one?
Absolutely.
All right, let's start defensively. They hung in there. 10-play drive, but they stiffened when they got close to the goal line, made them kick a field goal. And for the offense, 10-play drive. They might be a little disappointed they got a field goal, but they moved the ball down the field with dispatch and came away with points.
Now the Colts offense gets ready to head back on the field. And they're coming off a 3-and-out, my friend.
I think they've got to look at that play sheet and go to a spot that they haven't gone before. Time to shake things up a little bit to try and get this offense moving.
Okay, so how do you do that? How do you shake things up?
You look at what you called before, realize it hasn't worked somewhere else. And maybe try and find one of those special plays from one of your better players and maybe try and hit something big and get things going in the excitement area.
It'll go as an impressive 31-yard gain.
I know we love our jobs, and pretty much any play we see, we're pretty, excited about. But big plays, let's face it, that's what we absolutely live for. How about that one?
That was great. And what our camera missed was the fist pump from the sideline after that catch. They're fired out. That's a big gain. On first down, it's Tannehill. And nearly picked off. Surprising to see a defender of his caliber let it get away. But it does get away, and it's 2nd down. You and I watched film yesterday, and you told me to watch his feet. For whatever reason, his footwork just looked off on that throw.
And you always love it when an ex-defensive back talks quarterback mechanics, right?
Yeah, but you're good at it.
Well, I try, all right? I don't know how good I am, but it doesn't take much to tell. His mechanics are off a little bit, exactly what you described. Footwork, that led to the incompletion.
And he'll only get this to about the 35, well short of the line to gain.
One hallmark of good defenses is understanding the game, understanding positioning, and tackling immediately in the secondary after catches. I think we just saw that on display right there.
Got to him before he ever had a chance to think about turning it upfield. So out comes a field goal team now for the second time here today. This will be kicked from the 42. It's a 52-yard attempt. Oh, they get to the football. It's blocked. Now it's scooped up, and this is the big man. Get the oxygen tank ready.
Those really long field goals, when they are made, they are things of beauty, but there is a danger to getting them started, isn't there?
Yeah, with that low drive, you've got to really keep it low to the ground, don't you, to get that distance.
Yeah, hard to just pop it up in the air because otherwise it's not going to get there. So he's got to drive it low in order to have the distance, and that usually puts it in jeopardy, gives him a chance to block it, and everyone knows it on the other side. That's when you get your best jumpers on the other side of the field and try and get up and get it.
So now a chance for points in the opposite direction after the blocked field goal. On the counter, here's Kamara fighting him off. Tackle that time by Jarquiski Tartt. And this will probably be the last play of the quarter. 10-3 our score after one here on EA Sports. Texans football to start quarter two as they're looking at a second down and 9 to go. On second and 9, Rodgers. And Green with a catch left side. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face third down. Incomplete.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on third down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. Third down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
And Rosas puts this one through. And they will stretch their lead to 10 now at 13-3. So they recovered the fumble, but ultimately could not take advantage of the short field.
Definitely a lost opportunity right there. I mean, they were in prime position to put 6 on the board. Ended up settling for 3.
This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Here comes the Indianapolis offense now as they get set to take over. And it's been very much a slow start for them. 3 drives and just the 3 points, CD.
Yeah, if you're into the points per drive ratio, that answer is 1. And that's not going to get it done in a ball game. They've got to find a way to fit.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. The defensive player of the year, Aaron Donald. And it'll make this a second and long.
Well, someone's closing in on the league lead in sacks. He came into the game in the top 5. Now you add 2 more to his total.
Got to imagine the pass rush will be equally intense here on second down following the sack. It's 2nd and 18. From the gun, it's a handoff to Coleman. And they won't fare much better here as he maybe gets back to the line. No gain on the play this time, and it'll be a 3rd and long situation coming up. Here's Tannehill, and right side, Henry's got it. And they're able to bring him down at the 20. 2 yards is all they'll get on the completion. It's 4th down.
That's certainly playing down in distance very well by the defense, isn't it? Take whatever you want underneath, by all means.
Here's Jordan Berry now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. That'll be a 41-yard punt, just 1 yard on the return. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. So here are the Texans to take over. Their win streak at 6 coming in and counting as they've got the lead right now, beginning this drive 1st and 10. Good starting field position for them here as they come up 1st and 10. They start the drive on the ground. Kamara. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9. Off the bootleg, Rodgers, and he'll be brought down by the Colts.
Now, we talk about players blitzing all the time. I often laugh and sometimes call it just straight-ahead pursuit. What a running start right back to the backfield for him.
Yeah, it really didn't give anybody a chance to get up there and stop him.
No, I mean, that's really, really difficult. You're asking a whole lot anyway, but when he gets that kind of a start and comes through clean, oftentimes the advantage definitely goes to the defensive player.
To throw, it's Rodgers. On the right side, it's Hilton with a catch. T.Y. Hilton, nobody to beat. Touchdown, Houston. T.Y. Hilton, his 2nd touchdown on the season. And the Texans push further out in front. As a former DB, you might not like to see that, but from a wide receiver's perspective, those are the plays they dream of.
Correct on both counts, all right? Because once he took off, I mean, let's face it, that should have been done in Big Sky country. Aren't any speed limits out there? And off he went. Glad I wasn't the one trying to chase him.
Rosas now to add the PAT. And that'll make this a 3-score game as the lead moves to 17. The drive there only spanning 3 plays. And the result, a Houston touchdown. Now after the touchdown, here's Rosas on to kick it away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And now Indianapolis set to take the field. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Well, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. And he'll get this from the 25 to the 30 for a pickup of 5. Call it a gain of 5, and that'll make it a 2nd down. To throw is Tannehill. Henry's got it out on the left side. They'll try and run for it here. It's Coleman. Now a loose football. Coleman lost it. And this effort won't be enough as they rally up to stop him a couple of yards short.
Wow, that ball gets knocked free, but a teammate comes along and scoops it up. It's almost like baseball. Guys at bat, people are on base in scoring position. One guy doesn't get him home. The next guy comes through and picks him up.
And avoids the turnover. Here's Jordan Berry now as he's on to punt for Indianapolis. 46 on his first kick. This one in that neighborhood as well. It's a 39-yard punt, 3 on the return, and possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. The offense and Alvin Kamara heading back onto the field. He's over 40 yards here in the 2nd quarter. Been nice and effective for them, hasn't he?
He has definitely been dependable, and really shouldn't underestimate what he's getting done here, because anytime you're on a pace that's going to approach 100 yards, you've already done some damage in an NFL game.
Well, now he's looking just to add to his totals. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. First down yardage on the first play of the drive, 14 yards.
Tremendous blocking by the interior of the offensive line. They didn't just gash him there. They blasted a gaping hole for him to gallop through. I think if he comes back to the huddle, he better be giving them a whole lot of credit and thanking them for that much space to rumble.
Green flexing his muscle. 10 yards there, good enough for a Texan first down. And defensively, they were in zone coverage there. Do you have to be a little careful? You're losing, playing against a good quarterback like he is, to not play too much zone?
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think it's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if you still want to play zone, you go to a zone blitz scheme. And you can drop anyone out of your defensive front, defensive end, defensive tackle. It doesn't matter. You just exchange someone to bring more pressure towards the quarterback and still try and cover downfield.
A gain of 6 there on first.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
6 yards was the pickup on the last completion, so here's 2nd and 4. Throwing is Rodgers. Connected with Burton here over the middle. And they'll get him to the ground. He has another first down at the Colts' 29-yard line. Rodgers now 10 of 16 throwing the football. It's 1st and 10. Throwing now is Rodgers. Throw left side on target to Thielen. A good gain again. That's now 31 yards combined on those last 2 plays.
And when you're playing a quarterback with some experience and some moxie, you enter the danger zone when you decide to blitz him, because if he's able to diagnose as he did on that play, he can hurt you downfield.
He reads defenses so well, doesn't he?
He really does, and the best part about that play for him, I don't think that was his primary target.
I don't think so either.
I think he had the read, figured out where the blitz was coming from, and went to a secondary target for a really nice game.
Here's Kamara off the draw. And able to get him inside the 5 here, just inside the 5 to about the 4. A solid run on first down, gain of 7, leaves him with a 2nd and 3. A lot to praise on this drive, obviously. I know you're seeing what I'm seeing. Those guys up front, they're getting it done.
Doesn't matter what play is called. They are handling their business at the line of scrimmage and dominating right now on this drive. Well, they've been targeted quite a bit on this drive, and finally I think the guys on the defensive side, they said no more. They slapped the double coverage on him, made it very tough for him to get the ball.
Meanwhile, on 3rd down, they take a shot at the end zone, but it's incomplete. Thought they were going to force a 4th down. Instead, P.I. gives them the first.
And that's frustrating because you think you've taken them really deep into the count, haven't you?
And he gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Houston. Alvin Kamara with touchdown number 7 on the year. And the Texans push further out in front. And nothing special there. They show they were going to run the football. They ran it. They got it in.
Like old-time football, right? Hey, this is exactly what we're going to do. Straight ahead power, and they got it done.
Rosas to add the extra point. And the lead is now 24. So that drive in total 8 plays. And the capper came from Alvin Kamara on the touchdown run. Now after the touchdown, here's Rosas on to kick it away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Tevin Coleman and the rest of the offense making their way back out. They've given him some touches. They haven't had a lot of success on the ground. Do you maybe keep going to that well, or do you mix it up more?
I think you mix it up more, try and loosen things up. Get the defense to react to other people, other plays, but don't forget about it. That's your horse. You know, Secretariat lost twice in his career.
So educational. That's very true, kids. Look it up. The Pro Bowler Fletcher Cox there to get him down. Now we've got whistles and a flag. Looked like one of the Colts linemen might have jumped. It's a loss of 5 there, bringing up 2nd. And that false start penalty is certainly not helping their cause here. 2nd down and long. Now a pass here caught by Hunter Henry. The Texans here on 3rd down putting an extra defender in the secondary. Out of the gun, Tannehill. And this complete to Henry over the middle. And Henry's hit. He lost the football. And the Texans scoop it. And he's going to get this one back to the 20-yard line.
The psychology of the game never ceases to amaze me because you would think there would never be a fumble from what we hear from coaches all the time, right?
And how much they practice not fumbling.
Practice it, preach it, talk about it all the time. You would think no one would ever turn it over. Yet they are humans out there running around, and we just saw another one.
Opportunistic by the defense. Heading back onto the field, here's a look at Devontae Freeman now. A good job in the passing game, decent job in the running game, but really they've been more effective through the air. We'll see if that shifts at all as this goes on.
Thus far, it feels like they're calling this game in reverse. Normally you run to set up the pass. Here it feels like they're passing, hoping to set up the run and be more effective later on in the game.
Yeah, you can do it both ways. We usually talk about it in the reverse, however.
No doubt about it.
This defense could use a few more plays like that right now.
It certainly could, but think about it from an offense's perspective right now. They've got a lead, but they don't want to throttle down too much and stall themselves. Still want to move at a nice pace.
They'll get 9 there as that sets them up better for third down. Here's Kamara trying to run for it. But he has the first down before he's tackled at the 5. The gain of 5 that time gives him the conversion and makes it first and goal.
So it's pretty simple, partner. You pick up a turnover, set you up in excellent field position. The last thing you want to do is go 3 and out in this spot.
Yeah, they would have had to settle for a field goal attempt, but now they keep those touchdown hopes alive. Shotgun now for Rodgers. And he's in. Touchdown, Houston. Aaron Rodgers, 3 first-half touchdown passes as his guys continue to put this one out of reach. Now, he's having a nice little first half here, partner.
And it's a first half that leaves us anticipating what can still come. I mean, 2 touchdowns already here through the second quarter. There could be plenty more before this game is over.
Roses now to add the PAT. And they're able to up the lead by 1 more. Just a 4-play drive that time. And it results in the Texans finding the end zone. Now after the touchdown, here's Roses on to kick it away. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And the Colts getting ready to go. And they had the fumble last time that led to a touchdown. That's a no-no. We'll see what they do here this go-around.
A big no-no. Put that in capital letters. Turning it over, the other team takes it down and scores. That can be a deflator for a football team. Now it's up to the offense to get back out on the field and pick things up.
They're out there. We'll see if they can pick those things back up. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be second down.
Well, I know it goes against the instincts of the person catching the ball because all you're ever taught is catch the football, don't drop it.
But drop it there.
Yeah, in that situation, dropping it would have been better. End up losing yardage, even though they completed the pass.
As good as a sack.
Yeah, how about that? Although they won't get the same credit for it, and it won't help them at contract time.
Get that ball. Check 3, check 3.
On second down, it's Coleman. Looking for a seam, but finding none. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. In on the tackle there, Luke Kuechly. 2 minutes remaining in this first half of football. And we'll remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll join Jonathan Coachman and the gang in Orlando. Coach will have stats and scores from the early games going on here around the NFL. On third down, here's Coleman. And he'll wind up losing yardage here back at the 21-yard line. Now the Texans will burn the first of their timeouts. So as they take it over, we step aside. Here's Jordan Berry now as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. He's averaging just under 50 yards a punt as he gets this away. So possession goes over here on the punt. And out will come the offense as they take over. Aaron Rodgers, he's getting ready to go again here on offense. And how about the start so far, Charles? 3 first-half touchdown passes.
And that's how you generate excitement on a team. Keep your offense moving at a really high level. And it's also how you establish leadership.
Going for Hilton, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Morgan Burnett. And the return here will go to the 31-yard line.
That was a really nice interception. I think it illustrates the differences between playing man and playing zone. When you're in man, all you're focused on is the receiver in front of you. But when you're in zone, you're allowed to read the quarterback's eyes and go to the ball. That's exactly what happened on that play.
Here comes the Indianapolis offense now as they get set to take over. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
Well, you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
Throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete. Cortland Sutton was the man he was looking for. And now it's second down.
It's been my observation there's been a nice variety of play calling defensively. You and I often talk about an offense's ability to keep a defense off balance with what they're doing. I think the converse has been true in this game.
Yeah, I think you're right. They seem to have gone off tendency quite a bit, but only the second quarter. A lot of time to change things. Looking for the end zone. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up fourth down.
Sometimes it's just not your day. There's another failure right there on third down.
Now Jake Elliott for the field goal try. And remember, he had one blocked earlier. And this one is right down the middle. And now they'll just need 4 touchdowns as the deficit is now 28. So a good kick that time, and that might help to get the negative thoughts out of the mind from that earlier block.
Especially since this was not a chippy, so he had to get that one out kind of low. But his line does a nice job of protecting, and he's able to convert for 3.
This will be fielded at the 8. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get it up to the 29-yard line. Now Aaron Rodgers and the offense heading back onto the field. He does have the 1 interception, Charles, but I think that's been more than offset by the 3 first-half touchdown passes.
I would agree with you. There is a blemish, but when you've thrown 3 touchdown passes to try and erase it, that's a little bit better than the ratio that all NFL coaches are seeking from their quarterbacks, and he's giving it to them.
They'll take the 3-1?
Every single time.
And they'll wind up getting this to the 37, gain of 9. That last catch short of the marker by just a yard leaves him with a very manageable 2nd and 1. Now it's Rodgers. And that one got tipped, kind of threw everything off. It brings up 3rd. The Texans on 3rd down. They've hit on 6 of their 8 tries. Very good. They're up against a 3rd and 1 situation. To throw is Rodgers. And able to find Green. And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. They get 14 on that one. Good for a Houston first down. And now with that completion, he's north of 200 yards here in the first half.
And he's going to break our statistician Marvin, isn't he? Because Marvin right now is just tallying it up. Hope his hand doesn't hurt too much doing this or keeps hitting the calculator. But my goodness, what a start he is off to. By the end of this game, he could have monster numbers. He just wants to continue to be accurate.
Rodgers now over 200 yards already in this first half. It's 1st and 10. He's got it to Hilton. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. So we've come to halftime after a very one-sided beginning to this one. As we send you down to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman has our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. A lot to get to here as some of the division races starting to take shape as we look around the NFL here in week number 7. Lastly, let's check on one final game for you. And you can see they are scoreless as they play the second quarter. In our game has been Aaron Rodgers, who was on target in the first half. His 3 touchdown passes have his guys out in front as we hand things back over to Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. This will be fielded at the 6. And a good effort on the return there. Gets him across the 30 to the 33-yard line. And now out comes Houston. They built a good first-half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively.
First play of the drive, let's give credit all around. Excellent blocking, but the guy carrying the ball, he was the finisher. A really nice run.
And he'll be corralled out across midfield down to the 45. Give him 14 on that one and a first down.
Almost not fair. The big guy running the corner route, being able to lean and push and get to where he wants.
So how do you stop it?
A lot of times you want to have a linebacker on him, a bigger body guy who can handle him physically, but a lot of times that doesn't work as well because his quickness often wins the route.
Back-to-back good plays have him on the move on first down. Now Rodgers. He'll rifle this one deep right side. And incomplete. An excellent play downfield. Should have been picked off, really. But second down instead.
Finally, a good play there defensively on the deep ball. The secondary has had its struggles this entire game. Offensively, they've had their way with him. And now offensively, it's 3rd and 10, and I'm just thinking to myself, actors always say, what's my motivation before a big scene? Right now, the play caller's thinking, what have I done before that's worked well that I can go to right now?
Yeah, because they were pretty successful in the first half scoring points. Haven't done anything so far here in the second half. They call his number again. It's his 6th catch and a first down. Whatever the discussions were at halftime to try to slow down this offense, it has not worked to this point.
Yeah, I have a vision right now of everything that was discussed at the half just being torn in shreds or being erased off of the Microsoft Surface tablets because none of it is working. They are really locked in on offense.
Hey, they're scared. They're scared. Jim.
A man who's been busy this afternoon, it's Kamara again. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. It's a loss of a yard there, and it's second down. When this offense gathers to watch the tape, they're going to like a lot of what they saw. They put up big numbers, but they might fast forward through that last play.
Oh, there won't be any fast forwarding, partner. I've sat in those sessions before. You end up spending more time on the bad plays than you do on the good ones. It's just the nature of coaches. But I know sitting in that room, when you've had a big game, the night that they've had, you don't want to hear that. You just want to focus on the good stuff.
A second down pass play there, but it's incomplete. Green once again the intended receiver, and it's third down. An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on third down. And Rodgers is going to go down. He's sacked. Dontari Poe marches in for the sack.
You know, on these types of plays, we're always looking to assess blame. Okay, where did it break down? Sometimes it's just a great play.
So now here comes the field goal team for the 3rd time today. They'll put it down right at the 40, so call this a 50-yard attempt. And his kick is absolutely perfect. And that will just add 3 more to a lead that's already out of hand. So 3 field goals that he's hit now. This last one helps him stretch out the lead.
He's been solid, hasn't he? And he lives up to the adage that every offensive coach has ever said to us. We want to end every possession with a kick, right? For them, it's either extra point, field goal, or at worst, a punt. In this case, it's been 3s.
Here's the Colts now as they get ready for their first possession on offense of the second half. They're down in this game. A chance for the offense, though, to put something on the board, get some momentum here in half two.
Try and get things kick-started for them. And you know at the half, they discussed how they were going to get that done. This is where scripting comes into play a lot of the time.
How many plays do you script coming out of the second?
Most of the time in the first half, you're scripting 12 to 16. I think in the second half, you're really scripting more like 8 to 10. Kind of a starter or an opener, whatever terminology they use. Just something to get you off to a quick start.
Sutton reeling it in on the left side. That one good for the completion percentage, but no gain. It'll be third down.
That was impressive to me because while it was a pass play, they still rallied to the football like they were filling running lanes, and they were able to put the receiver on the ground.
Just a 5-yard pickup, and it leads to fourth down.
He wasn't the primary target, but I think it was almost like a check down situation, wasn't it?
Yeah, hoping he can break some tackles, a big tight end, but he couldn't do it.
Yeah, get into that big frame and hope he can scatter some bodies, unable to get it done.
Here's Jordan Berry now, as he's on for the 5th time here today. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. Here's Jackson. Called that a 46-yard punt with a net of 40 on the 6-yard return. Aaron Rodgers, he's getting ready to go again here on offense. And you think he personally is evaluating his game so far? He was pretty good in the first half, been good so far here in the third quarter. He's got to like it, right?
Not looking for the dramatics here. Not trying to set the world on fire in terms of stats. It's almost like you're driving. Hands at 10 and 2, alert for anything out there, watching for trouble on the road, and making sure you get the team home.
The bus driver. See if we can drive the bus here again on this drive. The throw once more on 2nd and 10. Rodgers, and they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. 12 yards there and a first down. They'll run out of the gun with Kamara. They give him 4 yards there. It'll be 2nd and 6. From the 45 on 2nd down. Rodgers. There's that man again. It's complete. And they'll get him to the ground. And he has another first down at the Colts' 34-yard line.
Well, for teams that like to play man coverage, running corner routes can be tough on them because of the ability of getting into it. Sometimes you're squaring it off. Sometimes you're just rounding it. Sometimes there's a fake. Sometimes there's not. That makes it very, very difficult for a DB to stay with it.
Rodgers now nearing the 300-yard mark with still a quarter to play. It's 1st and 10. Shotgun now for Rodgers. That's complete to the receiver, Thielen. And he works it to the 30-yard line here, right at the 30. That throw good for 4. It's 2nd down. Looking to throw again on 2nd down. Rodgers over the middle, complete. It's Burton. And he'll be brought down at the 21, just shy of the 20 in the red zone. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down.
And the tight end is certainly a position built to move the chains because they can control space underneath. If they've got good hands, then, of course, they're a dynamic target. But one other thing is they're right in the sight lines of a quarterback on just about every play. And that makes it easier for the quarterback to pick him out and deliver.
This quarterback now over 300 yards now for the game, and time to improve on that as he's got a 1st and 10. And he's going to get this one down inside the 15. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3. Throwing on 2nd and 3. Rodgers. And this will be incomplete. Physical play on the football there, and it's 2nd down. So the incomplete pass on the last play, and that leads us to a 3rd and 3. And he'll take this one in for a Texans touchdown. 4 touchdown passes now for Aaron Rodgers as his guys continue to pour it on. Boy, it's nice to have that big, reliable target you can go to.
Each and every time. A lot of people see that position as a fallback. Throw it to them when all else fails. Not at all. This guy can make plays, and that's exactly what he just did.
Yeah, play here for a touchdown. Rosas to add the extra point. And he's been a busy man, 5 for 5 now as he knocks another one through to extend the lead. So that drive consumes 9 plays all told. And the result, a Houston touchdown. Now after the touchdown, here's Rosas on to kick it away. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And now Indianapolis set to take the field. These guys had to punt last time. It has not been a very fruitful game offensively thus far. They haven't even made a trip to the red zone.
And I know that everyone's going crazy on that sideline because that drives you berserk to come off the field, not really move the ball well. As you said, not even get to the red zone, let alone, not even put points on the board. They've got to just take a deep breath, relax, try to figure out what is working, and call more of that.
Here's 2nd and 7 now from the 28. Here's Tannehill. His throw incomplete. He was hoping to get that one to Tevin Coleman in space, and it'll bring up 3rd down. These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. And now the 3rd down throw incomplete as well.
Now we're into the second half now, and this is an offense that continues to struggle to sustain a drive.
Looks like they're just totally out of sync, whether they're running the ball, passing the ball like we saw there. I don't know. The rhythm seems off. Here's Jordan Berry now as they're forced to kick for the 6th time today. Call that a 45-yard punt, just 2 yards there on the return. Aaron Rodgers, he's getting ready to go again here on offense. Really solid effort for him right now. 3rd quarter, already 4 touchdown passes. How many can he get here?
That remains to be seen, but I know one thing. You and I will be here to watch, and I'm not going anywhere. With what he's doing in this contest, I'm not missing a minute of it. This guy's been spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, it's a team game, but sometimes these individual performances are fun to watch.
Yeah, sometimes they just kind of come to the front, despite the fact, as you said, we know it's all about the team. But the way he's playing, he's trying to make his team win on his back.
Yeah, it's been exciting. Now this one complete downfield on the left side. A huge play there for Houston. 49 yards.
Just more of the same there, partner. Guys have just been running free in the secondary this entire game. No pass rush, a lot of passes completed. Been an easy day for them.
So after the big play, look at this, all the way down at the 15 now on 1st and 10. Into the red zone, it's Rodgers. And he's got his favorite target yet again. It's complete. And he's in. Touchdown, Houston. Aaron Rodgers on fire, his 5th touchdown pass of the ball game as his guys continue to put this one out of reach.
In order to lead in a game, you're going to get plenty of contributors, but that's his 2nd touchdown catch of this game. He's one of the key guys in this one.
And you better believe he'll be looking for the hat trick here as this one continues to go. Rosas now to add the PAT. And the lead grows even larger here in the 3rd quarter. So they only needed 3 plays on that drive. And it results in the Texans finding the end zone. Now after the touchdown, here's Rosas on to kick it away. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Here comes the Indianapolis offense now as they get set to take over. They've got to dig down deep. I mean, they need something right now, really anything to cling on to. This offense has struggled.
Partner, join me in a walk to their locker room at the half, okay? Because I think what we would have seen is an offensive coordinator and his assistant coaches getting together with all their positions, then coming together as a group, going over adjustments, and then the head coach coming in and just screaming, "Wake up!"
uphill.
Let's get moving, guys.
I'm kind of glad we weren't in there at halftime, actually.
You think you might have turned it on us, too?
Yeah, but right now, whatever was said hasn't been working. Here's a throw right side, taken in by his tight end. And he's going to be dropped following a pickup of 7 past the 30 to the 32. These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. Caught out left side by Robinson. And brought down, but not before he was able to break the tackle, and the extra effort moves the sticks.
Nice catch right there. Brings to mind the sentence, when in doubt, find your veterans.
We used to laugh back in the day when they would call guys like him crafty veterans. You get up in your 30s, you're still playing receiver, but you're around that long at that position, you're doing something right.
Just remember this. When he was young, he thought the crafty veteran was simply a guy who couldn't run anymore. Now he understands a little bit better.
They'll run with Coleman on 1st down, and they're going to get him behind the line yet again as his nightmare afternoon continues. On the stop was Aaron Donald.
He continues to struggle to find a crease to break off a big one and might need to just put that aside and just try and ram his way forward and get what he can.
And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. 12 yards there and a 1st down.
Running lanes run a premium in the first half, but he's able to find some room there, and he's hoping that that's a precursor of a big second half.
So a 1st and 10 now in Houston territory at the 46. A shotgun snap for Tannehill. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Henry. And he'll be brought down. Oh, that's a face mask. Certainly looked like it. Indeed, here come the flags. So they'll take the yardage and tack on 15 more for the face mask.
Talk about a play that absolutely costs you in the end. Just trying to do your job, right? Trying to get him on the ground. Next thing you know, they'll march off another 15 against your squad.
And now it's 1st and 10. A big mistake, especially when you factor in the personal foul yardage. On the counter, here's Coleman. And he'll go down here at the 12-yard line. 10 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down. On 2nd and very short, Tannehill. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off by Marlon Humphrey. He's at the 50, the 30, 10, and they will score a pick 6 for the Texans TD. This D wanted to put it away before we even get to the 4th quarter, widening that margin a bit further.
And while they won't just empty the bench just yet, if you're a backup, start loosening up. I think I'll get a chance to play before this one is over now with that type of a cushion.
Rosas to add the extra point. And the lead grows even larger here in the 3rd quarter. A heck of a play there defensively, getting the interception, navigating his way into the end zone for the touchdown. So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick 6, and now the kick is away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Tevin Coleman and the rest of the offense making their way back out. After some early struggles running the ball, they've really picked it up. Early it just seemed like there were no holes there. Now all of a sudden the holes seem to be there. I don't know if that's just my imagination.
And give them credit that they kept their confidence, because sometimes when you get stuffed big in the running game early, especially for an entire half, it really makes you retreat a little bit, but not this group. They always have the confidence. If they just got their assignments down, they would get in sync with their runners, and off they went. Yeah, that one sailed on him. You've got to make sure you give your receiver a chance to come down inbounds, because they are very gifted. They'll make the circus catches, but if they make them out of bounds, that does you no good.
That catch good for only a yard, and it'll be 3rd down. Throwing on 3rd down, Tannehill. This is brought in by Hardy. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. It'll be a gain of 17 and an Indianapolis first down. Throw left side complete. That's Sutton. That throw good for 4. It's second down. 3 quarters in the books. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now in Indianapolis. And this is a blowout so far as we get set for the fourth quarter. A very one-sided affair. To throw on 2nd and 6. Tannehill over the middle complete. That's Henry. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a third down. Tannehill going to throw on 3rd and 1. It's hauled in by Hardy. And he's going to be taken down with another first down as the stop's made at the Texans' 29-yard line.
One of the selling points of the in route is it gives the quarterback a really nice sight line to his receiver and almost on a direct shot able to throw the ball into the middle of the field and have a great chance of success as they did on that play.
Tannehill on the offense with a 1st and 10. And he's 5 for 6 now throwing the ball on this drive. Now it's Tannehill. And almost intercepted. It would have been his 2nd pick of the game. Instead, it'll be 2nd down. 2nd and 10. Tannehill once more. And that's going to be incomplete. Too tough to hold on to that one. It's 2nd down. This offense was on the move. Now 2 straight incompletions have them looking at 3rd and 10. Tannehill now to throw. And he can't hang on to it. Nearly picked. He's known for his hands defensively. But instead it just brings up 4th down. Well, the trials and tribulations of being a quarterback in this league, it's tough. It's got to be wearing on him out there.
Well, he has been sacked a number of times. He had an interception, so I'm going to give him a skosh of credit for hanging in there and trying to make something happen, despite the amount of pressure he's been under this entire game.
And this is right down the middle as he puts it through. And they'll get back 3, but this remains a large deficit. On the grand scheme of things, those 3 points likely not going to matter much, but I guess they get a little closer, a little more respectability.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They've been outplayed all game long, but like my mom used to tell me all the time before I went out, dress up a little bit, son. Make yourself respectable. And that's what they're doing here. They're just dressing up the final score.
This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Charles, you said earlier this defense is probably going to need to hold these guys right around 20 or under that if they were going to have a chance. It was evident pretty early on that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, they left 20 behind a long time ago in this game, didn't they? It looks like they're headed towards a big, big number. But 20 was the threshold because that kept them in the ball game and kept the pressure off of their own offense.
A running play on 1st down, and it turns into a fight just to get back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down.
And the big fella stuffed that one up in a big way. I think doubling him has to be a priority because you can't move up to the next level if you don't take care of him first.
They'll wind up getting 10 back as that sets him up for 3rd down. When we see another great performance like this out of Aaron Rodgers, you have to chuckle thinking that his only FBS offer was a walk-on at Illinois.
And now he's the pride of Butte Junior College, of course at Cal. And I remember watching him play at Cal, and he would run 7-on-7 drills. Angry if the ball ever hit the ground, and he didn't do it very often.
He's been the go-to guy. They needed a big play there on 3rd down. Went his way. It worked out.
Doesn't matter whether they've scouted it or that they think he's going to get the ball. He has a knack for finding his way open and completing the connection.
Running with Kamara. Shedding the tackle. And a good pickup there. He gets about 6 up to midfield. They run it again with Kamara. And for one of the few times here today, this run's not going to go anywhere. No gain on the play that time, and they'll look to convert on what will be a 3rd and 4. Run blitz there defensively, something we might see more of here in the fourth quarter.
I think we'll see a lot of it, and the difference between that and a pass blitz, you're just trying to get to the quarterback. You're trying to scheme someone open who will get to the QB and make sure he gets on the ground. In a run blitz, you're actually trying to cover up gaps, trying to cover up holes so they can't run the football.
Kamara. They're going to snuff this play out behind the line. They have not seen that much today. That sends them 2 yards in the wrong direction and leads to second down.
Brandon, it's clearly a running situation when you're up in the fourth quarter. They're going to have to stack the box and make it difficult for them to move the ball.
Made it very difficult right there. Now they need to repeat that effort.
Yeah, bring 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take to slow them down.
Right here, right here.
On 2nd and 12, Rodgers throwing over the middle, but it's incomplete. Chidobe Awuzie there to make the play in coverage. An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. Connecting with Burton here over the middle. And a good job on the tackle there as they get him down shy of the first on the 35-yard strike. They get 7 there, but it brings up 4th.
Whether you're playing West Coast offense or not, one of the maxims of the West Coast offense is you're either throwing a touchdown or a check down. In other words, look for the big shot, but be smart. I think they did exactly that on that play. They didn't get the first down, but they're taking care of the ball well.
And being rightly cautious with that lead here in the second half. And this one is right down Broadway. And they're well on their way now as the lead grows even larger. So it's 3 more points, and that widens this thing out even further here in the 4th.
And you know in this league, you can never have enough points, but this widens it out, as you said, and now it's all about ball control, isn't it?
After the field goal, here's Rosas to kick it away. This is taken at his 4. And not a bad return. Here he gets it out to the 25-yard line. And now Indianapolis set to take the field. And last time able to get 3. It's not what they wanted. They wanted 6, but they got at least something. They mustered something out of the drive.
They'll take it. I like the way you've described it. Not ideal, but they'll take it. Anything to put some points on the board. But this time on offense, they don't even want to see the field goal kicker trot on the field. They want that ball in the end zone.
They'll be going for 6. And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. Give him 13 yards on the opening play of the drive and also give him the first down. So that'll bump it back to a 1st and 15. A false start backs him up 5. 1st and 15. Here's Tannehill. Under pressure, and he's going to go down. Tannehill sacked. Fletcher Cox in there to get him, and on the season now, that is 9 sacks for him.
That right now, that's a defeated team out there. I think you can see it totally in their body language.
Hands on hips, heads low. It's just been a struggle from the start.
Yeah, this team has been thoroughly beaten right from the word go.
So after the sack, a scenario you certainly don't work on too often. 2nd and 24. Now Tannehill. And Sutton hauls it in over the middle. That catch good for 5. It's 3rd down.
Your trip is here. Mike, 55.
3rd and long, it's Tannehill. Well, that one's going to be knocked away and incomplete. The all-pro linebacker Luke Kuechly right there on the coverage, stride for stride. Another wayward pass. Things started out poorly in this game, and to be frank, they just really haven't gotten much better.
And all that does is embolden a secondary. They feel good about what's going on, and they just play better and better.
Here's Jordan Berry now as he's on to punt for Indianapolis. His first punt, 48 yards. This one looks equally as good. On the return, Jackson. So a change of possession here on the punt. Out comes the Houston offense as they get set to take over here. This ball game certainly has gotten a little out of hand. This is normally when they say you got to fill. This is fill time for guys like you and I. But yeah, to be frank, just a dominating performance. Really impressive what we've seen.
It is, and I'm glad that you went in that direction because otherwise we're going to talk about the museum tour we took yesterday.
Which was also impressive.
Which was also very impressive. But this game, how they've done it, offense, defense, special teams, they put it all together. And I got to tell you, I am beyond impressed by what I've seen from this team.
They try to throw on second down, but this one is incomplete.
That one fell incomplete there, but the best quarterbacks, they'll miss on 40% of their throws somewhere in that neighborhood, similar to a great hitter in baseball who's going to fail 7 out of 10 times and still have a great year. In this case, you want perfection, but way better that it hits the ground instead of going to an opposite color jersey.
They have the nice cushion. They just want to pour it on right now, still throwing the football.
And I know my background says, why do you need to do this? Just go ahead and run out the clock and get a win. But as many people pointed out to me, it's a video game, man. Go ahead and put the numbers up. Sportsmanship, not an issue.
Exercise those fingers. Now from Colts territory, here's a 1st and 10 at the 44-yard line. Now Kamara. And an alley to run. And he gets this inside the 35-yard line. Another good gain. That's now 35 yards combined on those last 2 plays.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is he getting stronger as this game moves along?
Burst seems just as good here in the 4th as it was way back in the 1st, doesn't it?
I do believe someone put a lot of time in the offseason and continues to condition during the season in order to continue to carry the ball at this rate.
They'll run. This is Kamara. This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2. Now a handoff. Here's Kamara. And they'll bring him down at the 18-yard line. From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. And that'll be incomplete. He was looking for his favorite target, A.J. Green, that time. But it'll be 2nd down. And the incompletion there stops the clock. Any surprise of throwing here late?
Ordinarily, yes, because you would think enough is enough. They've got plenty of lead, but I've seen this a bunch of times as well. The defense is going to crowd the line of scrimmage. If you just hand it off inside, you're getting your running back popped a lot as well. Sometimes the defense dictates it. If they're going to crowd it, you may have no other choice but to throw it downfield.
Ninth play of the drive coming up, and certainly not an easy one on 3rd and long.
Hey, watch the ball. Undercrush.
Back to the ground. It's Kamara. And the tackle made at the 13. He is well short of the 1st. He gets a good chunk of yards there, 8 all told, but they're still looking at a 4th down.
This drive is turning into an extended one, and the guy carrying the ball, he's becoming more like a body blows guy. Every carry is putting some damage on the defense. So after a while, I'm not too sure how many guys are going to want to run up and tackle him.
So it's Texans football as we welcome you back. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. And the kick by Rosas is good. And they're sitting pretty now as the lead grows even further. So yet another field goal to end the drive. That has been a very common theme. He's now hit 5 of them in this game.
Yeah, Brandon, as an offense, you hate that you've had to call on your kicker so often, but you have to love the fact that time and time again, he's come through.
This is fielded at the chalk of the 10. And a pretty good return here. He'll be stopped just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. Here comes the Indianapolis offense now as they get set to take over. They've lost this one. Their offense has struggled. Do they try to put together something here at the end just to take into next week?
Yeah, sometimes teams want to do that and coaches want to. I remember one time I was on a team and we were losing late in the game like this, and you knew it was lost. It was over, right? And the coach called a running play and pretty much said to everyone, I want to see something executed well before we get out of here. And that was the message to the team.
Just something to build on.
Just something to build on, get it done, and maybe we can look at that and say, we'll get better as we go forward.
And he's upended after a gain of 2 out to the 27th. And they're left looking at 3rd and 8 after the second down pass play only went for 2. Well, the ball batted in the air, and now it's intercepted. John Johnson with the INT. And this return is going to be halted right around the 28-yard line.
So many times we end the game, and as we're recapping it, we're talking about what offenses did and how they won the game. Let's flip this one over. The defense, they frustrated the offense the entire ball game. That's why they're walking out of here with a victory.
And they're going to love to walk out of here with that as their final act, that interception. Good way for them to end it. The Texans offense now, they get set to head back on the field here. And a few kneel downs should just about do it. Now, defensively, they do have all 3 timeouts, but very little reason to use them at this point.
Let's go.
Kamara trying the right side. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. 10 yards there to start the drive, and just enough by about the length of the football for a first down.
He's still rumbling, isn't he? Still looking fresh in this one despite the heavy workload. But you and I both know, well-conditioned, and he did tell us that he thrives on being at his peak late in ball games.
Here we go, D. Here.
Rodgers throwing here. His pass caught at the 4. And he's brought down. That one good for 17 yards, and now they've got it 1st and goal.
And a lot of people ask the same question all the time. Why do we see so many slants in the red zone? Well, the windows are tighter. Everything's more condensed. It has to be quicker, and you've got to deliver the ball on time. Your biggest worry? Ball gets tipped in the air, because if that happens, then it's fair game for the defense.
Well, they probably don't need to run a play here, but you wonder if they're going to be able to resist on 1st and goal. Well, Charles, it's one thing to win. It's another thing to win and put up the amount of points that they did. Boy, were they clicking on offense.
They can't help but feel great about themselves, can they? I mean, what a game to put up that number of points, continually feeling they're moving the ball and things are working and clicking. They think that they can bottle this and carry it with them.
And as an offensive coordinator, you just don't think you can do anything wrong. Whatever you call, run, pass, it's all going to work.
That's called being in the zone.
So for Houston, their winning ways continue as they get it up to 7-0. And they will head back home next week. Meanwhile, for the Colts, the downward spiral continues as they drop to 0-6 now. And they'll get a chance to redeem themselves.